Hello and welcome to Get Decked, the video series where I make budget Magic the Gathering decks for your casual games night and to introduce friends and family members to the game. This video I'm going to keep carrying on with the Bloomburrow decks that I'm building using only cards from the Bloomburrow set, and in this one we're going to do Frogmarch, which is a blue and green deck which is based around the frogs from the set. And I'm really looking forward to this one actually because I think it's probably my favourite out of all the two-color draft archetypes. Let's quickly remind ourselves of the rules for Get Decked. So these decks are 60 cards. They're designed for 1v1 games. We're only using Bloomburrow cards, as I said. Mostly commons and uncommons. No cards that cost more than $2 at time recording. Limit ourselves to 12 different non-land cards for a good mix of variety and consistency. Strong themes, low to mid complexity in terms of strategy. So a casual player can pick this up and kind of have a good time with it. But just because it is a casual deck doesn't mean it has to be weak or bad. So yeah, let's take a look at the deck list. So we've got 26 creatures, 7 instants, 3 sorceries, 24 land, mana curve off to the side there. Let's just get into it. I really want to talk about these frogs because, like I said, I do think they are probably my favourite out of the two color archetypes in the entire set. So we're going to talk about how we're winning and also what helps us win, because like with the bats, like in Night Flight, normally I like to do this as two separate sections, but there's so much overlay, I think, in the frogs and their effects. Like, we've got to talk about both at the same time. I think there's a lot of overlap. So first we're going to have 3 Lily Splash Mentors. So 2 a green and a blue for a 4/4 with reach. You pay 1 a green and a blue. You can exile another creature you control, then return to the battlefield immediately under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter. You can activate only as a sorcery, so you can't use this to dodge removal, but it does play into like the frog's big theme, which is use it like having ETB effects and also like keep returning to hand. Essentially just it's really thematically appropriate of just like they just jump around all the time, like they jump in, jump back into your hand, you cast them again, get their effects again. It's really I really like it, honestly. It gives me so much joy. But yeah, Lily Splash Mentor is obviously, I think, really nice. The fact it's just like a 4/4 for reach is absolutely okay anyway. And yeah, this effect, so you can exile a creature, comes back in immediately, you get the ETB effect again, and it also gets a counter on it. It's just really good. I really like Lily Splash Mentor. This is a nice repeatable way of getting those triggering our frogs essentially. We've got 3 Long River Lurkers, 2 and a blue for a 2/3 with Ward 1. Gives all your other frogs Ward 1, which is nice, just to help protect them from removal. So when Long River Lurker enters, target creature you control can't be blocked this turn, which is nice, because even like something like Lily Splash Mentor is really going to appreciate being unblockable even for a turn. And then whenever that creature deals combat damage this turn, you may exile it, and then it comes straight back in. So you just flicker it, it comes back in, and again you're going to get all the ETB effects again, because we've got a lot of them in the deck. So yeah, really like Long River Lurker. And then we've got 3 Dour Port Mage, so 1 a blue for a 1/3. Whenever one or more creatures you control leave the battlefield without dying, which we're going to do a lot of because we've got flicker effects, we've got self-bounce effects, you get to draw a card, so this is really nice. And you spend 1 in a blue and tap to return a creature you control back to its owner's hand. So you can do this to save something from removal or save it from combat. You then get to obviously draw a card because of its ability. It's just doing everything the deck really wants to do. I really like the frogs. I think they might be my favorite. Like, I'm really happy about the other 2 I've got coming up in this series, but like the frogs, I think, are just absolutely. I just love them. I just love how they've been designed. We've got 3 Sun Shower Druids, 1 green for a 0/2. When they enter, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and you gain 1 life. Really nice little creature here to keep replaying with stuff like Dour Port Mage, like return it and play it again, just to keep getting this constant like 1 life and an extra +1/+1 counter for like only 1 green. You can put it on itself, and then it's like a 1/3 for like only 1 green and gets you some life. It's a really nice little card, honestly, for like 1 green. Does a lot and goes really nicely, obviously, with all the all the self bouncing and ETB sort of synergies we've got going on. I really like it. We've got 3 Clifftop Lookout, 2 and a green for a 1/2 with reach. When it enters, you reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a land card, put that onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest go on the bottom in a random order. Another really nice thing to keep bouncing and replaying, because then it's just going to keep ramping you up into land. Yeah, really nice. And then 3 Pond Prophet, 2 Simic Hybrid Mana for a 1/1. When it enters, draw a card. Very straightforward, but you combine this Dour Port Mage, and you've got like a nice little like essentially draw 2 engine. Really nice. Really like it. Just very straightforward, very simple, but very effective. And then we've got 2 Tree Guard Duo. So this is a nice thing, I think, to keep replaying. So 3 and a green for a 3/4. When it enters, until end of turn, target creature you control gets vigilance and gets +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures you control. So this is really nice to kind of keep flickering, keep bouncing, keep giving this buff out to your creatures. I'm probably being a little greedy. I do wish it gave trample as well, but I think vigilance and plus X, especially when we've got so many creatures in here. Yeah, I think you get a lot of value out of like constantly replaying this, I think. And then three tree scribe. I knew I was going to have a nightmare with that card name. So 1 green for 2/3. Whenever it or another creature you control leaves the battlefield without dying, we've got all those effects. You get to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. So it's just a lot of. I really like this. This day it's just a whole lot of little things going on. You got synergies for stuff bouncing, or ETB effects. You got leaves the battlefield effects. You got +1/+1 counters going around everywhere. It's just I would have a lot of fun playing this. And that's always the thing we get decked. I build decks that I myself would like to play, and hopefully other people would like to play as well. We've got 3 splash portals just in case all those self bounce effects we've got already weren't enough. So 1 blue, sorcery speed, exile type creature you control, then it immediately comes back under owner's control. And if it was a bird, frog, otter, or rat, then you draw a card. So again, and obviously you get the ETB effects as well. So again, it being sorcery speed means you can't use it to save something from removal. But if you just want to keep, again, like just trigger an ETB effect or it leaves the battlefield effect, yeah, it's perfect for that. And also you get to draw a card as well. So it's doing a lot for 1 blue, So we're going to quickly going to talk about what stops our opponent winning, stuff we can do to interact with them and stop their plans, whatever they are. So we're going to have 3 Dream Dew Entrancers. So 2, a green and a blue for 3/4 with reach. When it enters, you tap up to 1 type creature and put 3 stun counts on it. If you control that creature, you draw 2 cards. So this is a really interesting card. So you're either going to lock down an opponent's creature for like 3 turns, or you can do it to one of your own things, and ideally then you get to draw 2 cards, and then you can bounce it with all the effects you've got. It's going to come back in without the stun counters. Get their ETB effects again. It's just a really fun card. I think it's got like a lot of versatility. You can use it to draw cards. You can use it to stop enemy creatures. It's just great. I really like it. I really like the frogs. If it's not obvious enough. We've got 3 Polywallop, so 3 in the green. It costs 1 less to cast for every frog you control, so I don't think you'd ever be paying 4 for this. And target creature control does damage equal to twice its power to target creature you don't control. So it's like a super. I was going to say it's a fight effect. It's not. It's a bite effect because they don't do damage back. And your frogs, you can get them pretty big. I think with +1/+1 counters and various the tree guard duo kind of thing. So yeah, this is a pretty big hits that could take down some really big creatures with this. So yeah, I really like it. And it instant speed is always nice as well. And then finally 4 runaway together, 1 in the blue. Instant speed, choose 2 target creatures controlled by different players, return those creatures to owner's hand. So you bounce an opponent's thing, you bounce one of your things. The difference is you want to bounce your thing so you can replay it and get all the bonuses again. Really love runaway together. Like such a perfect card for this deck, So yeah, that was it. That's all the things we're going to use to try and stop the opponents. We're going to quickly touch on the mana base. So we're going to have 3 Lily Pad Village. So it taps to give you colours, taps to give you blue, but only use that to cast a creature spell. We can pay 1 blue and tap and surveil to activate only if a bird, frog, otter, or rat enter the battlefield under your control this turn. I'll be honest, like this maybe is not super useful for the deck as much as it was for the rat deck, but I wanted to include it because I wanted all these decks to have the villages in it. Surveil 2 is still good because, like, at the very least, you're looking at the top 2 cards and, like, you can just rearrange them in the order you want. Or if it's something like land you don't need, or like some other spell or creature that's like just not going to be useful, you can just chuck it away. I think it's better to have the option and like not need it rather than need it and not have it. And then 3 Oak Hollow Village. This I think is actually the better one. Taps to give you colourless, taps to give you green. Again, spend that mana only to cast a creature spell. We can spend green and tap, put a +1/+1 counter on each frog, rabbit, raccoon, or squirrel you control that enter the battlefield this turn. I initially read this as on 1 frog, rabbit, but it is each, which is actually kind of crazy, I think. That you could, potentially cast a whole bunch of frogs in 1 turn, or bounce them back, replay them, flicker them, whatever, and then for 1 green potentially get +1/+1 counters on more than 1 creature. Like coming off like a land, that's pretty good, I think. Like for 1 green as well, really good. Really like Oak Hollow Village. and then 9 forests and 9 islands. So I'd love to know what you think about this deck. I obviously really like it. I really, really like all the frogs. I had some real tough decisions here on like what to include in the deck because I think all the frogs are like really well designed. Like they have really nice synergies with each other, and I think they would play. I don't know how they play. Maybe they're a bit too fiddly, but like they flick some sort of switch in me. I suppose they scratch some sort of itch. So I'd really like to know what you think about the deck. If there's any cards you would add into the deck, if any switches or substitutions you would make, anything like that. Definitely say comment down below. I'll give it a read like I always do, but I'll be back next time with another Bloomburrow deck. So I hope you join me for that. But until then, thanks for watching and listening, and have a great day.